And that's the same arc that we're going to have in this industry. I'll say it again, every business will use crypto in one way, shape, or form to remain competitive, and that will happen over the next 5-10 years.
$3.6 trillion in 2025. Crypto is once again a key consideration for wealth managers. Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to another CYPRX video breakdown. Today's episode is going to be all about boosting your conviction. We're standing right now at the edge of a massive institutional inflow into crypto, and now is not the time to get shaken out by intraday price swings or fear-driven narratives. And so in today's video breakdown, we're going to be diving into insights from top industry players like MasterCard and Galaxy, PwC, and reviewing global reports from leading wealth managers, like I said, and consulting firms. The message is going to be clear after today's video breakdown that crypto is becoming a core pillar of the new financial system. And in today's video breakdown, I'm going to back that thesis by updated research and insights from some of the largest industry-leading experts in the game. So do not miss this shift because you are focused on the wrong headlines. As always, we do appreciate the love and the support. It does take time to commit ourselves to these research video breakdowns. So do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to the platform if you enjoy these video breakdowns. And we're going to kick it off with this post from Watcher Guru today, taking you guys over here and sharing screen. I want to just talk about the statistics and the current market landscape in which we operate in. Fun fact, less than 7% of the global population is invested in crypto. Now, most people think that this is hocus pocus or that this is not an actual statistic. So I want you guys to hear it directly from an individual representative from MasterCard via a video breakdown from Crypto Valley that was shared only 3 months ago and has 110 views. Just again, to show you guys how early we are, you most likely have a MasterCard in your pocket, in your purse, or in your wallet right now as we speak. So you know who MasterCard is, you're familiar with this organization. And so here is an expert directly from MasterCard talking to you about the statistics on where we're at in terms of the adoption curve of digital assets and cryptocurrency.
Currencies overall. What do we see then in terms of adoption? So where are we actually on our overall journey? Still nascent. No, 550 million globally in terms of crypto ownership is not humongous. 6.8% of the whole population. Switzerland is standing out here a little bit actually with their 11.5% adoption, probably driven also because of the population who is prone to invest, who probably have a little bit of a higher net value on their bank account than most of the people across the world. But again, 550 million is not humongous, but it's an emerging segment. And we have seen a 33% growth rate between 23 and 2024. So we're growing, and people actually get interested and are willing to enter the space.
Hearing it directly from somebody with valid credentials and not some influencer on the internet, we are early. And when you understand that, you understand not to drop the ball by paying attention to headline, fear-driven narratives that are here to try to shake you out of this crypto ecosystem. And instead, you focus your attention on projects, on developments that are ongoing in this space that are going to set you up properly for the future financial system. Moving on, I want to talk about the regulatory landscape because we are seeing massive positive regulatory shifts right now, but the price action has not caught up to those tailwinds supporting the digital asset ecosystem. Don't take that from me. Take that from an industry-leading expert from one of the largest organizations in the game. I believe this gentleman stems from Everstake, if I'm not mistaken. And he goes on to talk about how the landscape in the digital asset ecosystem has shifted drastically, but price action has not yet caught up to those regulatory tailwinds.
Do that with stocks and bonds and different things. So, Robert, I'm curious, like, what your expectations are for the regulatory environment for all this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, at a really high level, regulation is a layer on top of legislation. And I think in the US, we're seeing two things that have changed very quickly. One is the regulatory interpretation of what should happen given the legislation at hand has shifted radically, as, you know, the Gensler SEC has become the, you know, UIETA/Atkins SEC. And all the other regulatory bodies as well have shifted dramatically. But that's a layer on top of legislation. I think what's really exciting is this year we're going to see stablecoin legislation, we're going to see market structure legislation, we're going to see an actual codification of the rules in the US around crypto and the way it's supposed to be operating in a way that we haven't had ever. And regulation has existed to interpret a lack of rules basically going back to the 1930s, and how that might apply to crypto. But we're about to have, for the first time, legislative interpretation. I mean, with like 98% certainty, that this actually goes through and passes about how all of this stuff should work. And actually the role of regulation decreases when we have modernized legislation. There's less to interpret. There's less to, suppose. And so, the environment is incredibly optimistic. I think, hopefully we don't bounce, back and forth between two different guardrails of like, hostility to crypto and an extreme support of it over the next couple cycles, and we reach an equilibrium where there's very clear rules and everyone knows how they work and like everyone's happy with it. But we're definitely headed in a great direction right now where it seems like anything is possible.
You wouldn't know by the prices.
You would not know by the prices. And that is exactly the point I was trying to get to, is that you do not want to be distracted by the price fluctuations in the digital asset ecosystem because the regulatory landscape is shifting. You do not want to get in to the crypto ecosystem after the financial institutions onboard into the space. Again, do your research, always assess your own personal risk properly, but you do not want to start chasing price action when the market cap is sitting at $5, $6, $7 trillion when you could have taken advantage of opportunities that exist in the now while we're currently hovering below $4 trillion in market capitalization. With these price fluctuations, understand the market landscape, understand when opportunity presents itself to you to get in at a discounted price in good digital asset blue chip projects. Here you can see a report directly from KPMG, a major consulting firm, talking about the year of the regulatory shift, where I said now is the time to lock in. 2025 will be the year of a regulatory shift following the supercharged years of 2023 and 2024. Regulators engaged in near record levels of rulemaking, even as they intensified supervision and enforcement activities. So you are seeing these shifts take place. They're not being publicly addressed or made available to the masses. And it's because instead, the mass mainstream media is focused on fear-driven narratives to distract you guys from this wealth transformation, which is exactly why here at CYPRX, we're making video breakdowns like this in between our other project-oriented videos to show you guys the landscape is shifting and you need to be focused. Moving on here, we're going to tap into this document from Alpha Ledger. Now, before we even get into this, as always, showing you guys that we're tapping into documents from organizations that have regulatory clarity telling you guys that this shift is taking place. Let's head over to alphaledger.com just so you guys can see, where they go on to say that we are transforming investing. And if you scroll right down here, it talks a little bit about them, how they are building critical infrastructure that connects traditional finance to decentralized technology, creating a more efficient capital flow for sophisticated investors. And then right here, it mentions their regulatory excellence, where it says our vertically integrated structure includes both SEC and FINRA regulated broker-dealer and transfer agent licensing, ensuring comprehensive compliance throughout the investment process. So this is an organization with regulatory clarity, and look at what they are telling you in their document. I posted this here on X, where I said, we are standing at the tipping point of a financial revolution. For years, DeFi, crypto, blockchain was the Wild West. Now it is evolving into a regulated, scalable, and secure financial ecosystem, and Alpha Ledger is mapping the blueprint for you guys. From meme coins to institutional grade assets, from unstable experiments to atomic settlements, from Wall Street control to individual ownership. The tokenization of real-world assets, stocks, bonds, real estate is no longer a theory. It is here, and it's coming on public blockchains with compliance, custody, and clarity. Platforms like Alpha Ledger are bridging the gap between TradFi and DeFi, offering investors yield opportunities with the upside of crypto and the stability of treasuries. And so here you can see it mentions in this report, my little tiny highlight up there might be in the way, but it says, fueling this transformation is a rapidly evolving regulatory landscape. Over the past 12 months, both Securities and Exchange Commission and the Commodities Future Trading Commission have signaled a progressive shift, expressing the support for tokenized projects. This momentum has paved the way for no action letters and pilot programs that embed investor protection directly into blockchain protocols. As regulatory clarity accelerates, the conditions are set for tokenized assets to scale, offering a compliant, transparent framework that aligns with the needs of investors and regulators alike. Then down here, it mentions, together these advancements herald a future where tokenized assets redefine wealth creation, delivering both accessibility and stability on public blockchains. So again, this is coming directly from an organization that has regulation embedded into its infrastructure. People are not paying enough attention to the changing landscape. So I just wanted to show you guys that document, always showing you guys some of the best documented proof in the game. If you guys want access to any of these documents that I'm sharing, hundreds of documents are shared on a daily basis in our private CYPRX Discord in the crypto research section. Here is another outstanding document directly from PwC, the Wealth Management Insight Report from 2025, titled Shaping Wealth's Future Through Innovation, Generational Shifts, and Digitalization. It cannot get any more clear than this. If we scroll right down here to page 9, you can directly see the percentage of investments that wealth managers and traditional portfolio managers are interested in investing in. Here it says, wealth managers are broadening their offerings to meet evolving client expectations. In an ever-changing market environment, beyond traditional portfolio management, many firms now provide holistic solutions that address not only financial goals, but also personal, philanthropic, and business-related challenges, as highlighted in PwC's non-financial services and wealth management. Right down here, it says, additionally, cryptocurrency is regaining prominence in investor portfolios, with the overall market cap surpassing USD $3.6 trillion in 2025. Crypto is once again a key consideration for wealth managers. And in these little tiny stats right here, it says, in which of the following alternative asset classes do you see the greatest client future strategic allocations in the next 2 to 3 years? Private equity at 65%, private debt, infrastructure, and then right here it says digital assets, 19%. So digital assets is beating venture capital, commercial real estate, residential real estate, commodities, hedge funds, and insurance-linked securities, which is granular to see in a report from a major consulting firm. So again, just more confirmation in the direction in which we are headed. Now, last document that I want to share with you guys today is this document right here, where it is a Finance 2030, the future of the Swiss financial industry. This is important because it's directly talking about the 2030 vision. This is a report from July 2nd, 2025, to show you guys updated information. You can see that date right there. And if we scroll right down here where it mentions, this is what the future of Swiss Financial Center looks like. In this special, it talks about this is what the future of the Swiss Financial Center looks like. Describes analyses, the opportunities and challenges posed by the digital transformation of traditional financial worlds, and offers innovative companies from the financial technology environment a journalistic platform. And right down here, it mentions different target groups. So it talks about them talking to financial advisors, management consulting firms, ICT investment managers of medium and large size companies in Switzerland. And right down here, their main topics for conversation are listed. And right at the top, it says crypto, blockchain, Bitcoin, smart contracts. So yet again, another document directly talking about the future of finance from this year. And it gives you insights into where this industry is headed, right? Now, coming over here to this panel discussion that was streamed 1 month ago. Shout out to Avalanche London Summit for this one. Take a second and listen to what this gentleman says about how every business in the future will utilize crypto.
So again, the overlooked truth in all of this is that, and this is something that we believe at Inversion deeply, is every business will use crypto. In the same way that 20 years ago, we were making this distinction of there's an internet business and then there's a non-internet business. Well, the reality is that every business today uses the internet to stay competitive. And that's the same arc that we're going to have in this industry. I'll say it again, every business will use crypto in one way, shape, or form to remain competitive. And that will happen over the next 5-10 years.
So take into consideration what I've shown you so far, and then take into consideration what this gentleman has just said. Ask yourself the question, would you rather get into the market now, again, exposing yourself to a certain level of risk, doing your own personal risk analysis on your own behalf, or get into the market after every single organization and institution is utilizing crypto and digital assets. Imagine what that landscape looks like. Believe it or not, that is going to be hundreds of trillions of dollars. I know that that is hard to fathom right now, sitting at a $3 trillion market cap and having all these manipulative moon boys tell you guys every single day that XRP's price is going to go to $1,000. It never does. And then you're left wondering what the heck is going on? Why aren't my bags pumping? Why am I not rich yet? Well, this transformation is not going to just happen overnight. It is still going to take some time, but you do not want to be positioned after the institutions. And that is what I'm trying to get you guys to see. Not financial advice. Always go out there, do your own personal research, pick apart projects that interest you and that you have done your due diligence on, but you do not want to be situated in the crypto ecosystem after the big organizations and large institutions flood in, and they are for a fact coming. If we head over here to cap on what that gentleman just said, sorry, I said that the previous document was the last one. This is the last document that I have to share with you guys today. And then I have one more video clip. If you guys are enjoying this in-depth research, really showing you guys perspectives that are all updated for some of the largest organizations in the game, do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the platform. This is that type of video breakdown that you can share to one of your naysaying friends or family members that is like, oh, crypto's still a scam, I don't want to get involved. No, you need to wake them up and get them to realize they will be left behind if they do not adopt digital assets. This document proves exactly that. This is the document titled Financial Institutions, the Future of Finance, Fit for Growth, Built for Purpose, May 2025. And if we come right over here, it mentions the technology behind digital assets has matured to a point where collective adoption by banks could give them a significant productivity lift. Then if we head over here, this is a gentleman from Galaxy solidifying that context. Listen here to what this gentleman says. At a recent event that was streamed 1 month ago, this particular video breakdown only has 76 views. Yet again, back in the thesis that only 6.8% of the population owns cryptocurrency right now, and that we are early.
A bit about regulation before. Thomas, just tell us about that. How do you see the regulatory discussion, and how is that going to help you?
Yeah, I mean, I think just at a very high level, just the level of the conversations that we've had even a year ago versus today are the delta is wide, right? Like we have Galaxy's fortunately very well positioned to be able to kind of straddle both TradFi and crypto, and the conversations even a year ago were more us being more outbound with different partners, and now the conversation has very much flipped where we're now working with a lot of different players just because of the coming regulatory clarity, where more and more of the traditional financial institutions are really interested in this technology and they look at it as more as inevitable. And so the question is how they jump in and what strategies they are going to use for not only day one, but longer term in a decade. And so that some of that regulatory kind of clarity is in some ways priced in, especially with, I think, stablecoins. People very much see that bill passing relatively soon this year, which I think could be material for stablecoins specifically, but also it means that that momentum will likely continue to increase for the the market infrastructure bill more broadly. I think DC is DC, so there's always a big asterisk there, but I think getting that level of clarity can really be more material, and it means that a lot of the players that historically have understandably been hesitant because there were a lot of unknowns are now coming off of the sidelines and are really excited to engage in ways that we haven't seen previously.
Organizations that were previously sitting on the sideline are now more reluctant to getting engaged, coming off the sidelines, and they're excited to adopt these technologies. That is 110% confirmation that you should become awake and aware to this digital transformation, this massive shift in this financial ecosystem. No hopium, no hype here at CYPRX, just real insights from people's voices that actually matter in this space. Do us a favor, if you guys enjoyed today's video breakdown, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to the platform. If you guys want access to this type of in-depth research, documents, panel discussions, non-mainstream related crypto fundamentals that never reach the mainstream headlines, that are always shouting out fear-mongering events to you guys, keeping you distracted, head over to CYPRXtrading.com. You guys can see the banner right up there. Tap into our private CYPRX Discord. Hundreds of fundamentals shared on a daily basis. the ones that you guys should be paying attention to from the people's voices who actually matter in this space. And if not, tap into the free content. We're always sharing hundreds of documents on our X profiles, and we're constantly giving you guys updates on the YouTube. So make sure that you're subscribed, smash that thumbs up button. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video breakdown.